Hi everyone, I'm Jamie Wong from Kelly OCG, and with me today is Manjiri, founder of Maya Care. Hi Manjiri, thank you for coming on Coffee Table Chat today.
Hi, Jamie. Lovely to see you again.
Right, so let's talk about Maya Care first. So Maya Care is an organization that you have founded 13 years ago that provides support and care for elderly across UK and India. But what's the most special thing about Maya Care is that it's 100% run by people who has disability and challenges. So I must say you're definitely very progressive and ahead of time in terms of diversity, equity, and inclusive hiring in organizations. That's why you are definitely the person we need to speak to today. So my first question for you, Manjiri, is why are there more organizations today talking about DEI, wanting to have DEI in the workplace as compared to 10, 20 years before?
You're absolutely right, Jamie. The awareness levels are very, very high now. And it's not about diversity where people, some organizations would still talk about gender diversity and saying what's the percentage of women on your board or what's the percentage of women in your leadership team. But it's not that alone. People are going many, many steps further. And obviously, our area of interest today for today's conversation is persons with varying disabilities, and also things like persons who identify themselves as a different gender from what they were born in, etc.
Yeah.
So the good news is finally the world is moving towards getting the right person for the right job. It's not about gender, or it's not about whether you're able to walk or see or hear anymore, or really certainly not about your gender preference or your sexuality or anything else, which really should not matter at the workplace, because we are moving towards a merit based society, and
Mhm.
that really is the future we all hope for.
Yeah, that's totally right. Today we are, although there's still a lot of focus on gender diversity for sure, but there are others like cognitive, physical, mental, and having a society that embraces that is really so interesting. So for organizations who are, at the start of that journey, what would you recommend them looking at to start and flourish in that journey in terms of having a DEI workforce?
Right. So I think today's conversation, if we are going to orient it more towards people who are leading organizations who want to be exemplary in their
Mm-hmm.
diversity agenda, today I believe leaders have a huge challenge. Leaders on the corporate side, especially if people who truly believe that this is something they want to do, but they're not able to do. And the challenge really is coming from the other side. It's very interesting that people, a lot of corporations today have the policy of saying, okay, let's look at candidates with some kind of disabilities, or look at people who may not have had the same opportunities, but they're not able to hire. Or even if they're able to hire, the gap is they're not able to give them work which is actually truly productive. And what we have learned through our journey at Mayacare, and today, I mean, it's a matter of great pride that my husband, Abhay Joshi, and me, we started Mayacare 13 years ago, but we do not run Mayacare. So
Mm.
Mayacare is run entirely by a team of 30 persons with who have overcome varying disabilities. Under them, they have a team of 100 people who are part of running Mayacare. Once again, people with varying disabilities, both in India and the UK. And then through a network, a very large network of 1,000 plus volunteers who right now they do not have any disability, simply because a lot of times the infrastructure of organizations and cities is not equipped for them to go and visit the elderly. So that's one aspect. Today in Maya Care, there is also a BPO, a business process outsourcing unit, which is entirely end to end, led by a lady in a wheelchair sitting in India, and she runs this organization, working for 5 corporations, taking on outsourced work for for-profit organizations, right, from motor insurance back-end work to marketing to whatever else. So that's the other area. And third, we have the recruitment, training, and placement teams. Again, all the people in those teams are persons who have overcome disabilities, hiring more people and helping them place people in other corporations. So, given
Mm-hmm.
this setup, what we've learned through this journey is that none of this happened overnight, and obviously, but also none of this happened with ready people. What's the gap in the market today is that even the most, I would say, forward looking organizations today are asking for people who are already trained, who already have experience, say in accountancy, in HR, in marketing, or something else. And today, the other world, the world of persons who are disabled, I talk about UK and India both. What we find is that they have never been able to work. Even people in their late 30s, sometimes 40s, have lost 10, 15 years of their lives simply because they've never worked. They might have an education, they might have had some training, and there are really lots of charitable organizations as well as for profit organizations who are training, who are providing training to persons with
Mm-hmm.
disabilities, but they're not able to provide them work. What we've been able to do through our journey is, and which is why I'm saying they are running Maya Care, because all the functions I described, they're doing it. And they're doing it because they learned. They learned on the job and they learned through training. They also
Mm-hmm.
learned through paid internships. And which is
Right.
why today they're in a position to say, okay, if I don't know something, I'm able to learn and move forward. Apart from
Right.
other things, the leaders at Mayake also have a strong KRA. Each of them have very strong KRAs and performance measures where they are told to nurture new leaders, more
Right.
people with disabilities who come into the system who have no experience, no skills sometimes, but move upwards and actually go forwards. Now, that really is the gap. If leaders who are listening, if they would like to, enhance their own teams and look at the best person for the best job, there needs to be a little space saying, okay, we are willing to hire some freshers, maybe a group of freshers, or maybe a cohort of freshers, or maybe one or two who right now don't know what needs to be done, but we are willing to
Right.
invest in that time for training.
Right.
And like we say, whether it's any you talk about any kind of disability, ultimately we are talking about merit. And when we're talking about merit, we're talking about attitude and attitude only. So
Right.
these are people who have risen from, I think, 895 persons with disabilities who came into the system for Maya Care. They have risen through the ranks. They have risen through, wading through a lot of difficulties in their way, and they're here.
Right.
And sometimes, again, I find that a lot of times corporates get stuck and say, "Oh, do we have a ramp? And can we, that person can they enter this can enter my office, or oh, I need to now buy some different software for these people, or what do I need to do?" And honestly, those are more simplistic measures, and that's actually simpler than the other aspect of not having trained or skilled people.
Right.
Because the magic there, and I do truly call it the magic of technology today, is that there are 6 women with visual impairment, they can't see at all, living in the UK, working with somebody who's hearing impaired in Mumbai, somebody who's visually impaired in Kolkata, and managed entirely by somebody sitting on a wheelchair in Chandrapur. And they are running Mayacare UK.
Wow.
If this can happen, it's a magic of technology.
Right. What a beautiful story, Manjiri. And what my key takeaway from what you've just shared is if organizations, like you say, today are looking for just the right candidate, hiring them and expecting them to start performing from the start, that would be probably a little bit of building castles in the air. But if companies are willing to look and give some time to train and to be able to look for accommodations and be able to allow the candidate to be able to learn on the job, that's where the training and the learning can happen. And that's where the organizations will be able to prepare this talent to be able to perform at the task and job that they're supposed to. And I guess that's the real magic in that sense.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Right. Beautiful story, as I say, Manjiri. Thank you so much for your time today. I'm sure many organizations, after hearing your journey and what you have been achieved, will be very encouraged and will be starting their journey very soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.